Welcome back. We're talking about 5 tribes, and we're talking about the expansion that you can get. So, a number of different expansions, one of which is over here, and one of which is here. So, the Thieves of Nakala, this is just cards. It's a very cheap expansion to get. It's only about £4 or so, and it's just a few cards, about 6. And it just gives you some ability to steal from somebody. Again, it's pretty powerful in a 2-player game. As you know, I pretty much only play it as a 2. It lets you, destroy somebody else's Vasia, which is a yellow thing. So you basically have one of those out in the game, and I think once you've used one, then a new one can come out. So you always got to pick from one of those and 3 djinns should you go here to spend one of your white dudes, one of your elders, and also a fakir. And a fakir is found randomly in here. So we talked about set collection, and fakirs in the base game too. You've got these guys in here too. You need one of those and one of those, or another white dude to buy a djinn. Hopefully, wife isn't watching. The plan for me is probably to go for djinns next time. She had 8 in the last game. The other expansion. So, you have some more meeples. You need more meeples because you've got more tiles out. So you need an extra, if it's going to be 5, you're going to need an extra 15, of which there should be that in here. You've also, so these specific tiles have certain things on them. You've got extra djinns in here, and also you have like a water tile, which means you can't really go through it. It's called an oasis, so you can't use that with your movement. Benefits. So if you manage to control the most of these, you're going to get victory points. You get 45 if you control all of them. If you control, say, 3 of them, you get, I think it was 25, and the other person, if they control 2, gets 15. But you definitely don't want somebody to be whizzing ahead in that motif. Finally, on those cards, you're going to see that when you end your movement and obviously get the benefit on the bottom left is basically from now on you can kill a red and gain 10 money and various other different things. In this instance, once you've claimed 2 of these things, you can gain 15. Once you've got 2 pots, you can claim 10. So different abilities there, and it works very well with the entire game. It adds a bit more variety. Having said that, it makes it meaner, a bit more tenser. Definitely don't need it. It's just a case of whether or not you want to sort of play something differently, and whether or not you've got that kind of variety in what you're doing. So, tell you what, we're going to use this video as the unpacking video, and thus you can sort of see how I'm chucking everything back. Quite easy. We've got our meeples on here, and you just chuck everything back in the bag. So, who might like it? Well, or who should you play it with? That's another way of putting it. And the crucial thing is, yes, it does take some downtime between turns because you're thinking of planning a move and planning a second move. If you do something, do you end up leaving it open for someone else to not only do something that you could do then next, but you've just set them up, and also make victory points, which was more than your first turn was doing. And of course, your first turn is where you're spending more to bid. So that second turn is pretty negative. But if you wait to the end, they might realise that, and they just choose to delay what they're going to do. It's the size of the box, you might have spotted, is a Kallax. So it's the standard large size game. That Kallax is a sort of shelf type that you can get from IKEA as an example, just as a kind of terminology that I've coined to state in relation to how long it takes to get something into a shelf. In that case, it's quite easy. So the game duration, it's about, I would say, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, maybe 100. So not terribly long. And yeah, it's a game that I personally wouldn't play with more than 2, just because of the duration. You're looking at 2+ hours, I'd have said otherwise. Plenty of score pads. We're unlikely to get through this anytime soon, but it's a game I'm happy to play occasionally. It's something that has some great interesting feelings to it. Having said that, being a Mancala, it's definitely a love it or hate it Marmite kind of thing. It's a kind of, I'd say, worker placement to a degree, but Mancala is Mancala, and that's exactly how it should be pitched as. Having said that, there are a few Mancala games out there, and few that are of any particular value. It's an excellent designer who I've had a chance to meet. He is Bruno. He's done some great games. King Domino is a phenomenal game that there are some other games like it that I've also enjoyed. These, I think, also come in here too. Plenty of different colours, obviously quite some interesting ones. Orange, black, pink and blue. I personally think I think pink stands out quite well, so I'll make sure I know where I'm at with pink. Sometimes you can have them boxed so that you have 2 in any one bag, but having that money in that location is good too. Comes the bag, which is good, and so with that expansion, it does add a bit of weight, but not too much. I personally wouldn't cycle with this. I think I'd just play it at home. I'm happy I've been able to explain it though. This has definitely got a kick to it, this weight. And 5 tribes, 1-8, still settling, 1-8-3-4. There we go. That is 5 tribes, and if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's probably going to go into the Hall of Fame at some point. Thank you.